Good evening, you're watching Just the News. I'm Amita Balachandra. We're going to start off today's bulletin with COVID restrictions that are being lifted in some states. Maharashtra has lifted all COVID curbs starting the 1st of April. This comes ahead of Gudi Padwa and Ambedkar Jayanti. Now, the use of masks, however, and this is according to the state government, they've said that it is advised, but it will not be compulsory. Now, today the state recorded 183 fresh COVID cases. Following suit, we also heard from what the West Bengal government plans to do. They've announced to withdraw all COVID-related restrictions imposed in the state. However, the government in its advisory has said that the wearing of masks, hand hygiene and sanitization of public places should continue to be strictly observed until further orders. Away from the story now, moving on, the central government has decided to remove the Armed Forces Special Powers Act in certain districts of Manipur, Assam and Nagaland. Now, the decision comes in the backdrop of vociferous demands from various states in the northeast to remove AFSPA following the killing of over a dozen civilians in Mon district of Nagaland last year. Now, several civilians were killed in an army ambush on the 4th of December in Mon district of Nagaland last year. Mr. Amit Shah has said that the reduction in areas under AFSPA, and I quote, is a result of the improved security situation and fast-track development due to consistent efforts and several agreements to end insurgency and bring lasting peace in the northeast, end quote. In the meantime, the chief ministers of all of these three states have said that this move is historic. To give you a bit of a context, AFSPA empowers security forces to arrest anyone and conduct operations without prior warrant. Now, continued focus on fuel price rise. It is the 9th increase in 10 days. The total increase is 6.40 rupees in just 10 days. We'll put up the chart of what different cities are showing at this point. The cost of petrol and diesel. Prices have risen by 80 paise. The actual cost of fuel with freight and dealer commissions is about 50 rupees, and you will see that petrol is above 100 in most big cities, and in Delhi, petrol has crossed the 100 rupee mark. In Mumbai, for instance, diesel has also crossed the 100 rupee mark. Also, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi has led a protest against fuel price hike along with other Congress leaders in Delhi's Vijay Chowk. The Congress also launched its Mehengai Mukt Bharat Abhiyan, which will continue till the 7th of April. In the meantime, Union Road Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari has said that the prices of all electric vehicles will be equal to the cost of petrol vehicles in the country within 2 years. And he made this statement in Lok Sabha. He said, and I quote, "Due to petrol and diesel costs, we are facing crucial problems. Already we have seen the situation. So this is the only alternative fuel. I mean green hydrogen, electricity, ethanol, methanol, biodiesel, bio-LNG and bio-CNG. We will work in that direction." End quote. News coming in from Tamil Nadu. The Supreme Court today upheld Madras High Court's decision to dismiss a state court law that provided a 10.5% special reservation to the Vanniyar community in government jobs and educational institutions in the state of Tamil Nadu. Now, the Supreme Court said, and I quote, "We are of the opinion that there is no basis to treat the Vanniyar community as a separate group compared to other backward classes," end quote. Now, the AIADMK government had passed the Vanniyar Reservation Act in February last year, just before the Model Code of Conduct came into effect for the state elections in April. Meanwhile, Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann has ordered Punjab schools against imposing any hike in school admission or tuition fee. Now, the Chief Minister also ordered that no school can force parents to buy books, stationery and uniform from a particular shop. The move is aimed at breaking the monopoly in education business. News coming in from Bihar. The Chief Minister has said that whoever drinks are mahapapis or sinners and not Hindustani is what the Chief Minister has said, quote unquote. The Chief Minister was speaking while taking part in a debate on the proposed amendments to the Bihar Prohibition and Excise Act 2016. Now, Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar said, and I'm quoting him verbatim, I would call them Mahapapi. I would say those who are not following Mahatma Gandhi are not even Hindustanis. They are incompetent people, end quote. Now, the Chief Minister also said that families of those who would die or drinking spurious liquor would get no relief. An update on the Rajasthan doctor suicide case that we told you about yesterday. A local BJP leader in Rajasthan has been arrested for instigating a mob to harass a doctor after the death of a patient in a private hospital she owned. Dr. Archana Sharma died by suicide after police filed a case of murder against Dr. Sharma and her husband. The complaint was filed by family members of a woman who died due to a hemorrhage shortly after giving birth at Dr. Sharma's hospital. Now, since then, we've seen protests take place in Delhi and Rajasthan, with doctors demanding the state police to withdraw the cases against them. An update now on what's going on in the Parliament. Lok Sabha on Wednesday passed the Delhi Municipal Corporation Amendment Bill 2022, which merges all three municipal corporations of Delhi into a single entity. Now, the bill was passed by voice vote and various amendments moved by the opposition members were rejected. In the meantime, in Rajya Sabha, 72 members retired, including P. Chidambaram, Anand Sharma, Jairam Ramesh, Suresh Prabhu, among others. Let's now take a look at what's going on in Ukraine. It's day 36 of the crisis in Ukraine. Russian leader Vladimir Putin has threatened to stop gas supplies to unfriendly countries if they don't deal in the Russian currency. Now, from the 1st of April, they will have to open special Russian bank accounts to transfer foreign funds, and the bank will then use them to purchase roubles. Now, Putin said, and I quote, "Nobody sells us anything for free, and we're not going to do charity either. That is, existing contracts will be stopped," end quote. In the meantime, the situation in Mariupol gets worse day by day. However, the good news is Russia had declared a one-day ceasefire in Mariupol, which is one of the worst affected. Ukraine's government is sending dozens of buses to Mariupol in a fresh effort to bring out evacuees and deliver humanitarian aid. Several civilians are stuck there. Ukraine's president has even called it a humanitarian catastrophe. Meantime, NATO's Secretary General has said that Russian forces in Ukraine are not withdrawing, but regrouping instead. This comes after Moscow's announcements about a scaling down of military operations around Kyiv. Also in the news, Ukraine's president has said that his country's defense against the Russian invasion was at a turning point and again pressed the United States for more help, hours after the Kremlin's forces reneged on a pledge to scale back some of their operations. The talks, however, between Ukraine and Russia is set to resume on Friday by video. The White House, in the meantime, has pledged an additional $500 million in direct aid for Ukraine. This comes after Ukraine's president had pressed the Biden administration and other Western allies to provide Ukraine with military jets. Meanwhile, the US and Australia have criticized India for considering a Russian proposal that would undermine sanctions imposed by America and its allies, showing a deepening rift between the emerging security partners, and this even as Russia's foreign minister has traveled to Delhi for talks. Now, US Commerce Secretary has said, and I quote, "Now is the time to stand on the right side of history and to stand with the United States and dozens of other countries, standing up for freedom, democracy, and sovereignty with Ukrainian people and not funding and fueling and aiding President Putin's war," end quote. Meanwhile, the Power Minister R.K. Singh has informed Rajya Sabha that construction of state-run NTPC's thermal power project in Bihar that has involvement of Russian entities has been affected due to various sanctions against Russia. He said that supplies of balance equipment or material from Russian entities may get affected. On to other international news coming in from Sri Lanka. We're going to start off with Sri Lanka. The power minister has said that the country is turning off street lights to save electricity. Now, the island of 22 million people is struggling with rolling blackouts for up to 13 hours a day because the government does not have enough foreign exchange for fuel imports. It's also facing a shortage of fuel, paper. We're also seeing reports of shortage of food items and the fact that a lot of civilians will have to stand in lines at gas stations, which is also leading to protests. And one piece of positive news before we wrap things up here on this bulletin: International Transgender Day of Visibility is celebrated every year on the 31st of March, which is today, as an annual event dedicated to celebrating transgender persons and raising awareness faced by them in every sphere of life. So there were several members of the community who observed the day with a rally at College Square in Kolkata. For instance, they carried out the procession, according to the Indian Express, holding several placards to raise awareness about transgender rights and celebrate their contributions to the society. That brings us to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for watching. We've taken your feedback on the fact that you want shorter bulletins, so we hope we've done justice to that. Keep your feedback coming. Thank you so much for watching.